All right, let's go now to our correspondent, Sarah Kimani, who has more on this debate. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. I see not all candidates showed up. Tell us more.
No, indeed, only Deputy President William Ruto has showed up for the second tier of the debate. He was expected to be with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, but he's having an interview of sorts because he is the only person on the podium. Raila Odinga sent a letter to the debate secretariat. His campaign secretariat sent a letter to the debate secretariat saying they would not share a podium with Deputy President William Ruto, whom they accuse of being corrupt and having integrity issues.
What does that then mean then for this particular debate? Because it was meant to be about the two candidates facing off, telling the voters why they should choose them.
Well, the debate secretariat says that in keeping with its tradition of running these debates for successive elections now, the debate would continue as it is happening now. But some political analysts saying that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has lost a chance to stand face to face with his main opponent and maybe make his case on those issues that he accuses Ruto of. Corruption, mismanagement, and saying that he was also part of this administration. And so they're saying he had a chance to do that. Ruto, on the other hand, says he is here to present his manifesto to the country, and he says this for him is a chance to clear the air on issues that Kenyans may still have before the elections, which are due in exactly 2 weeks.
And what have we been able to hear then about, his pre-election plan, as well as some of the promises to the voters as he continues then with this, now we can even call it a debate, I guess, as he tries then to woo some of the voters?
Well, people are listening in, and some people saying that, sometimes debates are for the undecided. But going by the statistics that we have seen in the deputy presidential vote, 34 million people watched. And so what he's doing now, he's expounding on what he has been saying in the campaign trails, the political promises that he has been making, but also he's defending his track record, because there are questions about him having disrespected President Kenyatta, having abandoned President Kenyatta in the second term. So he's talking about that peace pact between President Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga having derailed their campaign, their political development agenda, saying that if they had been left alone to work himself with President Kenyatta, then the country would have been able to have more development than it has right now. So he is saying that he's ready to continue where they left off in the first term.
And we of course are talking about two candidates tonight, but they're not the only ones. Let's talk about the significance then, as Kenya moves closer to its election, about the fringe candidates themselves and how much of a role they play in the testing of the maturity of democracy.
Well, Kenya is a very political country. So right now, if you go through the Twitter handles of Kenyans on Twitter, you'll find everybody is discussing what is happening here. The whole country is actually glued on their television sets. So indeed, this will have an impact on how people make their decisions. Raila Odinga has said instead of attending this debate, he will hold a town hall at a later date. So we want to see if that will also be televised live, and if those two now comparing the debate here and the town hall by Odinga will be able to give the results. Just to tell you that earlier, before this particular segment that is underway right now, there was another one where that was also went on with only one candidate, because the one also dropped out. Professor George Wajakoya, who has been talking about legalization of commercial growing of marijuana, snake farming, selling hyena testicles to be able to pay off the country's debt, did not show up. And he said the reason he did not show up is he would have wanted a stage where he shares a stage with Raila Odinga, William Ruto, and Wahige Mwaura.
I
There are
tell
only
you,
4 presidential candidates in this election.
your Twitter handle is a hive of activity. You know, when one follows you, they wish that they were in Kenya to really follow this, blow by blow. But let's talk about another serious report that we saw today. You know, there's reports that are suggesting that the Committee to Protect Journalists has warned that Kenya remains, vulnerable to political turmoil, and says that there have been incidents of violation already against the press. What is the situation like on the ground?
Well, the election, especially the presidential ballot, is going to be very competitive. From the opinion polls, Raila Odinga leads with a very slim margin. But even now, it is very difficult to tell who is going to win. And we have seen in previous elections where it is very close, then the country tends to be very tense. And that is what now turns out to be, that's how violence comes in. There's also been questions of the credibility of the electoral process. This past weekend, the Electoral Commission was put to question because there were people, Venezuelans, who were held at the airport with election material that they were carrying in their baggage and they had not declared it. And so such things, when such issues start coming up, then the country becomes tense. Now, the Electoral Commission keeps saying they are ready to have a free and fair election. But with all those things coming up, it becomes difficult to tell. Earlier last month, we attended a press conference by the National Cohesion Commission, and it was warning that the country had a 70% chance of, having post-election violence. Now, police saying they have put in place measures to ensure that everything goes on well right now during the campaign process, during the electoral process, and after the elections. But we are waiting to see what happens. Of course, a lot of people worried because Kenya is neighboring countries that are landlocked, and most of them use the port of Mombasa. So anything that happens to Kenya is likely to affect business in Uganda, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, even as far as South Africa. So it is a gateway to the continent, and anything that happens here. So if Kenya sneezes, the rest of the continent catches a cold, and that's why all eyes are on Kenya as we speak.
Indeed, and some hoping that, as you say, we won't see a repeat of what happened in 2017. But thank you so much for your time and putting us in the picture there. That's Sarah Kimani reporting to us on that supposed presidential debate that was supposed to take place, but only one candidate showed up.